Welcome to day 3 of the 2016 U.S. Corn Belt Crop Tour. My name is Mo Agostino, Chief Commodity Strategist with Farms.com Risk Management. And we're traveling north on Highway 130, just below Newton, Illinois. And just before I get to some of my observations, just some quick facts about the state of Illinois. Corn good to excellent is at 72%, very poor to poor 6. That's just slightly below the national average. Corn yield in 15 was 175. The record was 200 in 2014. Corn acres at 12.1. It's only second to Iowa at 13 and change. So corn acres this year up 3% versus last year. Soys, Illinois is the largest grower of soys at close to almost 10 million. Iowa comes in a close second, represents about 12.1% of the total acres in the U.S. We're up a little bit versus 2015. Yield is at 56. The record is 56. So 14 and 15 were very good years for soys in the state of Illinois. And then wheat, we're 38% harvested. Total acres, again, it's small, 50.56 million acres. We're up 4% versus 15. Yield tends to average around 65. We're down 2 bushels per acre from 2014. So did you know that all of the yearly corn production from Illinois, if you put that into a train of boxcars, it would go from Illinois to Hong Kong. So that's how much corn is in this state. Now you're looking at another cornfield here, and you know, it just some consistency from state to state. Late planted crops. This is short for this time of the year. It should be at least, well, you know, if the weather improves here, if maybe they do get some rain, this can grow fairly quickly. But I'm just disappointed with the size. I'm not seeing any disease pressure. Very healthy, looking, you know, very green. So stage a 1 out of 5. It's a 1. But you know, compared to my past few years in the state of Illinois, this is not on the verge of a record crop at this stage. Still early, still big growing season ahead of us. Now we're gonna go across and look at some soybeans. So we're still on Highway 130. We're across from that cornfield, just below Newton, and you can see how small this crop is. It was probably late planted. Some of them are just barely coming out of the ground. You know, it's behind. If it was planted late, you know, it's subject to lower yields. But soybeans are a late August crop, so still lots of time. And if the weather is okay, it can still yield pretty good. In 2012, we baked that soybean crop for months and months and months, and then we finally had some late August rains, and it produced a good crop. So we'll continue with our tour in Illinois. We're going to go further north, and we're going to start meeting with some experts in the state as well as some farmers. We're now traveling east, kind of northeast on Highway 136 near Emden, Illinois. And the further north we go into Illinois, we're starting to finally see what crops really should be looking like. This is a really good cornfield here, nice and lush green. You got some tassels and some ears growing. This is 30-inch spaces. And then in the background, we have some beans. Again, blooming beans, nice canopy there. And nice sunny day. It's hot again, 90 degrees. I'm getting a little concerned, you know, over the next 2 weeks. This area has complained a lot about rolling corn. We're going to continue to move towards Macomb County up to Roseville. That's the furthest north we'll get, and we'll continue to show you what the corn looks like here. But it's been a lot better than the southern parts of the states, either Illinois, Indiana, or Ohio. We're traveling south on Highway 67. We're near Carrollton, Illinois, and we're going to end our tour here as we travel south towards St. Louis, Missouri. And we've had a couple days and a lot of observations, key observations. Spoke to a lot of farmers and industry experts in this state. This is number 2 state out of the big I states. Iowa, of course, the number 1 state. But you know, the yield last year in corn was 175. The record yield was 2015 at 200. You know, based on my observations, this crop had an early start. It's well ahead of a lot of the crops we saw in Ohio, Indiana. And I think this crop is above average. I think this crop, we saw a lot of tasseled corn, more than we ever saw in Ohio or Indiana. And I think we're going to have to rate this crop at least a 8.5 to 9. I think we're going to have to rate the beans as well. The beans are a lot taller. I've seen better beans though in 2014 and 15. You know, they have had some issues, but the beans are a resilient crop, and it's an August crop, so it's still got time to come through. The corn, however, there's still farmers complaining about a lack of moisture. So we saw some issues like burning up. There's some nitrogen loss. You're not seeing it here. Well, you're seeing a little bit here, but not to the extent we saw up in that New Salem, Illinois. You know, a lot of that corn up there was planted end of March, early April. So you're going to need a drink soon, next 2 weeks. Next two to 3 weeks is critical. We're either going to have you know, some of this corn like this, probably 250, but if it doesn't get a drink soon, it's probably down to 200, and if you don't finish strong and you don't get some moisture in August, you can be down to 150. So really the next 2 to 3 weeks is critical, but we got an above average soybean and corn crop in Illinois.